Shalom, brothers and sisters, to all my Akim and all my Akwaf, and anybody listening to this video. This video is going in about Kendrick Nun. He was dismissed from the team. The Illinois basketball player kicked off after admitting he hit a woman. Now, this is really nothing new. There's NFL players that have been also terminated for this very reason, for domestic violence. I knew a guy personally that lives in the same town that I do, and his name, goes by the name of Ernie Thompson. He played for the Phoenix Cardinals, played for the what else? The Kansas City Chiefs. He played for them, special teams and stuff like that. He's trying to get his foot, to get a better position on the team. So this is really nothing new. The only problem with this is I don't necessarily disagree with the organization's decisions, but why are you so quick to get rid of these talented football players? I'm not justifying the domestic part of the man beating a woman up. He needs to handle his business in a better way than that. Behind closed doors, we don't know what these women are doing to antagonize these guys. You may say, well, that's no excuse, man. If you ever been in a relationship with women, women can antagonize the hell out of you. Some of them can even challenge you to hit them. So it's more than just a cut and dry situation. Now, I'm not saying it was necessarily a horrible thing, but I don't understand why you have certain jobs that you have anger management, you can get help and stuff like that. But when it comes to the NFL players, these high paid guys, if it's found out, they get the can real quick. And I'm going to go here and say it, especially if you're a so-called African American player, you really get the boot. I can't remember his name right now. He was a quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It might have been Rufflesberg if it comes right to the top of my head. Yeah, he got accused of raping a woman, but he's still playing. So why is it just when the brothers, get these things or get into it with the woman, they're the only ones kicked off? Is that because the NFL and the NBA and whatnot are predominantly African American? I mean, man, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. Going back, get on back on track here. This guy was kicked off the team. And I think the program or the school kind of initially was going towards putting the young man back on the team, but the coach kind of, made the final decision. He was trying to send a strong message. That's cool. It could have been anybody. If anybody else, if this would have happened to somebody else of another ethnic group with the same thing had happened, maybe. Sometimes they do make examples of another ethnic group. It happens sometimes, but it's just I can't understand why these schools and these NFL teams and basketball teams don't have some type of program to deal with this. The big problem with a lot of these NFL and NBA players is here you are. A lot of times these guys never have really worked a job. So you go from, maybe high school being a star athlete, transitioning to college, and a lot of times behind closed doors, these college kids are getting little perks here and there. They may be getting even money from the coach on the down low. But it seems like these guys, you got to understand a lot. They're kids. They may be 18, 19. You may be able to say, well, he knows better, but you got to realize he's still a kid. And like I said, once again, I'm not justifying what they did. He was wrong. He shouldn't have put his hands on a woman. He should have, handled it a lot better. But, when you look at Penn State and look at Sandusky, this man was molesting kids, and it wasn't just Sandusky. And Penn State's not the only college in the nation that is doing this. This is a nationwide thing that's going on, starting with Hollywood. When there was an actor just that came out with an article, I think his last name is Penn. I'm just briefly, he came out and said the pedophilia is running rampant in Hollywood. And then he backpedaled and didn't want to get in trouble, or even better yet, killed. So he basically changed his story a little bit and just backpedaled on it. But initially he was trying to come out. He just couldn't believe the pedophilia that went on. But this is a child trafficking syndicate in the United States of America. This is going on through all college campuses, hazing and whatnot. This is nothing new. Sandusky was just a sacrificial lamb to take the fall for Penn State. There was others, and probably even Joe Paterno. It wasn't just Sandusky. They threw that man under the bus. So, how can you let stuff like that go on for decades, but as soon as these young men make a mistake, you ready to give them a can, and they young dudes. They're still kids. We're going to make an example. This won't be tolerated, but sodomy can be tolerated in your universities. But this man getting in a dispute with probably a loudmouth woman, which he shouldn't have hit her. He made a mistake, but they get the can just boom, just like that. And that same thing happened to my buddy Ernie. The woman antagonized him. She was cheating on him, doing all kinds of stuff. He should have left her alone. You do have that option. But hell, even sometimes you leave them alone, it really gets bad. They start stalking you. Before you know it, you're in handcuffs instead of her. So it's not just cut and dry all the time. Even though it seems that way, but a lot of times it's not. I've been in a relationship before. I broke up with a woman and the chick started stalking me, breaking in my home and everything. What could I do? I couldn't prove it was her. So what do you do when you know it's her, but there's nothing you can do about it? Well, it's not enough evidence. Did she say, what do you do? I know countless guys that I know that's been stalked by women. And there's hardly a whole lot they can't do. Even, and even for the better part, I'll even say some women have been victims of stalking, and sometimes things don't get done as fast as they should. So, the so-called justice system, if you want to call it that, fails people all the time. So, like I said, I'm not justifying a man putting his hands on her. I'm just saying everything is not what it seems all the time. And how can you get away with sodomy for 30 or 40 years, and nobody's seen anything? And yet, not take that back, they did see something, but they just turned a blind eye to it because too many people were getting paid. And it's all a ritual. It all goes back to sodomy and satanic power and these fraternities, which are nothing but just many Illuminati cliques. Just all they are is just what do you call? Just a starter kit to get ready for the big boys. That's all that is. I'm gonna go and play this and.
Station of Illini Sports. This is WCIA3 Sports and your Illini Nation.
Illinois basketball player Kendrick Nun is kicked off the team less than a week after he admitted a woman. Nunn was dismissed today by Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman. The first-year AD sends a strong message that domestic violence will not be tolerated in his program. As part of his plea deal, Nunn will not have a conviction on his record as long as he follows the stipulations under his 18 months court supervision. But that still wasn't enough for Whitman to say that Nunn could stay on the team. It's a big loss for the Illini. Nunn was second on the Illini in scoring last season, averaging 15.5 points per game and 5 rebounds per game as well. A 3-year starter, he was one of the most consistent players for Illinois, scoring more than 1,000 points in his time at Illinois. Whitman said this: "We have not reached this decision easily. We care deeply about Kendrick and want him to be successful, but after extensive deliberation, we think it is best for our program to reaffirm our core values of trust and respect, to send a strong message about what is acceptable behavior for our student athletes at the University of Illinois. We expect Fighting Illini student athletes to be leaders in promoting healthy, respectful, caring relationships. We wish Kendrick all the best as he prepares for his next chapter of life." We reached out to Nunn's attorney, Tony Bruno, to try and get a comment from Nunn, but he denied. Bruno said this about his client: "Kendrick Nunn has done everything a person in his position could do to right his wrongs and take responsibility for his actions." Nunn's departure leaves an open scholarship for this upcoming season. It will be a short turnaround for Gross and his staff to try and find a replacement for Nunn. Almost all high school seniors are already signed. so it will likely be a fifth-year transfer. We're still waiting word on Tracy Abrams and whether he'll get a 6-year of eligibility as well. If Abrams doesn't get his final year of eligibility, the Illini will have 2 open scholarships. It's likely that Abrams will be granted a final season, though. The only signing at this point for 20...
I'm going to stop right there. But as you see, I guess the young man tried to make amends. Like I said, he was wrong. He should not have put his hands on the woman. He should have handled that better and furthermore, put her in the hospital. He should have known better than that. I mean, I don't go for none of that. And I'm not saying the university was wrong. It's just, I'm just, kind of comparing certain things. It just seems sometimes that these kids get the chopping block, especially these African-American kids. They don't take no crap off of them. It's straight discipline. But like I said, you can get away as administration in a college and rape kids for decades. And it took 30 or 40 years or some odd for anybody to even try to push the line on what they were doing. It's unbelievable. With that being said, Shalom.